Today, I'm sharing 2 different ways to make flan cake in one pan. In method 1, I bake the flan first, then add the cake batter. In method 2, I pour both layers in and bake them together. Same ingredients, same temperature, same water bath, but slightly different results. I'll show you both, and you can decide which method works best for you. Now it's time to preheat the oven to 340 degrees Fahrenheit. Over medium heat, add 1/2 cup of sugar to a saucepan. Add 1 teaspoon of lemon or lime juice. This helps keep the caramel smooth and glossy. Prevents crystallization. Add 1 tablespoon of water. Do not stir, just gently swirl the pan like this as the sugar melts. Watch the color closely because caramel can burn very quickly. Once it reaches a deep amber color, carefully add 2 more tablespoons of water and give it a quick stir until well combined. I'm using 2 8-inch heart-shaped pans, but you can also use 1 larger pan. Pour the caramel evenly into the pans. Then gently swirl to coat the bottom completely. Next, let's make the custard. Into a blender, add 1/2 cup whole milk, 5 large eggs, 1 12-ounce can of evaporated milk, and about 1/2 cup sweetened condensed milk. That's roughly half of a 14-ounce can. You can add more if you prefer it sweeter, but this balance is perfect for my family. And add 4 ounces of softened cream cheese, 2 teaspoons vanilla extract, and a pinch of salt. Blend until completely smooth and silky, no lumps at all. Then strain the custard through a sieve, dividing it evenly between the 2 heart-shaped pans. Cover the pans and place them into a hot water bath. Bake gently just until the edges are set. This is method 1. We bake the flan first, then add the cake batter later. For the cake layer, I'm using a butter fudge cake mix, but any cake mix you like will work. In a large bowl, add 3 eggs and 3/4 cup whole milk, then whisk until combined. Add 1/2 cup melted butter. Mix again. Then gently fold in the cake mix until smooth and lump-free. Once the flan is set around the edges, gently pour the batter over the top. Try to spread it evenly so it doesn't sink too heavily into one spot. Flatten the surface. This helps the cake bake evenly. I've used this technique for years, and it's consistently reliable. Add more hot water to the water bath if needed. Then bake uncovered for another 40 minutes at 340 degrees Fahrenheit. To check for doneness, insert a skewer into the center. If it comes out clean, the cake is ready. Let the cake cool completely. Then wrap and refrigerate for at least 4 hours, or preferably overnight. Now let's test method 2, just like before. Pour the caramel evenly into the pan, because this bundt pan has deeper edges. I lightly grease it for easier unmolding later, wiping away any excess oil that drips onto the hardened caramel. Pour the flan mixture directly over the caramel, both into the bundt pan and the heart-shaped pan. I'm using the same heart pan as method 1, so we can compare the results accurately. This time, without baking the flan first, pour the cake batter directly on top of the custard. Spread it gently as you pour. For this version, I'm using a coffee cake batter instead of chocolate. I'll share the full coffee flan cake recipe in the next video, so stay tuned. Cover the pans and bake gently in a bain-marie for 1 full hour. Here are the results from method 2. They look beautiful on the surface, with the cake clearly on top. But the real test happens when we unmold them. So again, let them cool completely, wrap, and refrigerate for at least 4 hours before unmolding. After refrigerating overnight, it's time to unmold these heart-shaped cakes. It releases very easily, and as you can see, the pan comes out perfectly clean. The cake holds its shape beautifully, smooth edges, defined hearts, and no cracks at all. Let's unmold the second one. Same result, it comes out effortlessly. Both cakes from Method 1 have very clear separation between the flan and cake layers. The flan layer is silky and smooth, while the cake layer is evenly baked and fluffy. The structure is firm, but still delicate. Exactly what we want in a flan cake. Now let's cut one. Look at those layers, perfectly distinct. The flan is creamy and custardy with no air pockets, and the cake layer sits neatly beneath it without mixing. The caramel has soaked slightly into the top, giving it that beautiful shine and extra flavor. So why use this method? Baking the flan first allows it to partially set before adding the batter. That stability prevents the cake from sinking or blending too much into the custard. It creates a more controlled structure and very consistent results. The texture is luxurious, silky, smooth flan on top, soft, buttery cake underneath, with rich caramel tying everything together. If you want a more polished, bakery-style finish, this method is incredibly reliable. Now let's unmold the heart-shaped cake from Method 2. It releases easily as well, and the pan is clean. The cake holds its shape nicely, and the layers are still well defined. However, if you look closely, the surface of the flan has a few wrinkles, not quite as smooth as Method 1, but structurally, it still looks very good. The layers are clean, and the cake portion is soft and even. Now for the bundt pan for this one. I run a knife gently around the edges before flipping. It comes out nicely, the shape is good, and the layers are still clearly separated. When we slice into the heart-shaped cake, you can see the flan and cake layers formed very well, with minimal blending. This method saves time because the flan and cake bake together at the same time. It's more efficient and requires fewer steps. If Method 1 is a perfect 5 out of 5 for clean structure and smooth finish, I would give Method 2 a strong 4 out of 5. The layers are still beautiful, and the taste is just as delicious, creamy, soft, sweet, and caramel rich. Both methods work. It really depends on your preference. So ultimately, the decision is yours. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next time.